What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Ryan Guy,
It's your boy Easy.
and you are listening to Turtle Soup, the internet, nay, the world's only community supported woohoo podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT all the way from the very beginning until I become the flat top king
The Flat Top King.
of cooking food on the flat top.
That's right. I
Shout
forgot about that.
Shout out,
Yeah.
flat top king YouTube. Yeah, because he taught me a lot. He's a little America, but also he does good flat top cooking. I've been cooking a lot of food on the flat top, and it's been amazing.
That's awesome.
I made chicken teriyaki. I made those Wayback burgers, bro.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I made smash burgers.
Yeah.
Then I did the Wayback cheesy butter bun thing where
Oh, okay.
I buttered up the buns with mayonnaise and then
Right.
flipped them. I flipped them around,
Okay.
and I did like a grilled cheese kind of smash situation on that.
Ooh.
And bro,
Yeah?
they were kicking. It was
Oh,
super
that's-
good. Yeah,
That's awesome. Now, real quick. How did the for those who listen to the bonus episodes, how did the ribs go?
Ribs were awesome. We
Okay,
had an
that's good. I
assignment
was
just to catch
nervous.
everybody up. We messing around with some ribs on the propane grill tech because I only have a propane grill. I don't have a
Oh,
smoker.
right.
So we got a little smoke box thing, and we were like trying to do them in direct or whatever. The first time we didn't get the temperature high enough. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So they didn't get cooked as well. The second time I bought a thermometer that's a Bluetooth thermometer that goes to my phone, and I put the probe at grate level. So I'm like, let's see how hot it really is.
Right.
But we were so worried about not having enough heat, we went too high on the heat, and the ribs were good, but they're a little bit burned, a little toasty.
Yeah.
This time, for 4th of July, my dad goes, well, bought you some ribs. Figure you can cook ribs for 4th of July. I'm like, oh, crap. And he's like, so yeah, right, bring them over. So we sat there on that thing and monitored that thing and kept that grill at 225 at the grate.
Okay.
And to turn up the one burner that was on, turn it down. Turn it up, and watched it for 6 hours.
Goodness.
And those things, it was basically pulled pork. Like it was coming off the bone so much, it was so perfect that it was just like, get a bone and some meat stuff because those aren't connected anymore.
Right.
They turned out really, really good. So I was really glad. Yes.
I'm glad that worked out.
Another thing thank you. Another thing I'm very, very glad about is that we are live on YouTube.
We
are. If you haven't checked out the show on YouTube, if you're an audio listener, you should come check us out. Make sure if you're on here now, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, get all the notifications, do all the things. And we stream obviously every week live. And if you're not in this chat, then you're crazy. You're just stone cold crazy. You need to be in this chat because it gets popping.
It does.
Share the stream if you're watching as well on social media to let people know we're live. I saw some shares yesterday, last week when we did Chef Special, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There's another thing I appreciate, maybe the same actually or more. It's hard because they fill 2 buckets. In your life you have a couple buckets and you're kind of
Always
like, man,
the
that
buckets.
bucket, I love that bucket. That's the other bucket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This bucket I love so much. Sometimes I can't see past it, and I trip over it. And all the little patrons come falling out, but they'll get right back in the bucket because it's great. And then I carry it around in my backyard, and I wear only overalls, no shoes.
Only overalls.
And I got a bucket full of patrons, and the 2 patrons that tipped out of the bucket, and I have a little wink at on the ground there, and they hop back up my leg and crawled in the bucket. Those are Jono Barnes and Duncan Gale. This episode's for you guys. Thanks so much for being patrons.
Thank y'all.
Thank you to our other patrons.
Yes.
We could not literally do the show without you. Especially technically, because we have some new things in play right now that your boy EC would have been like, I don't know where I'm going to get in.
I don't know what it's going to happen.
But we got there.
We did.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting there, we try to get there on steps in the journey, man. Like we walk and we walk and we walk, and we sat down for a little in our little bivouac. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a palaver over this step of the journey, Eric. And what is this step, sir?
A palaver. This step of the journey, Ryan, we are taking our first sojourn into 1998. Now,
great
this
year.
is going to be February, if I'm not mistaken. 1998. We're going to be reviewing Image Comics TMNT Volume 3, number 13. And
Number 13.
this. Now, if you're new here, Turtle Soup, all the way from the beginning until blah blah blah. We go as best as we can chronologically. So, but we decided with the Image run that we were going to just try to get all the way through it. And that should take us to 99. So, and then we're going to go back. So we haven't forgotten about,
we got next mutation.
Next
mutation. There's stuff that we got to do.
There's some other stuff.
It's got to happen.
Yeah. So we got some bags of tricks in store coming up in the near future and whatnot. So we haven't forgotten about anything. And if there's anything we haven't covered yet that you're like, as far as like in the timeline, like in the 90s or whatnot, and you want us to talk about it, definitely let us know. turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And because we want to know about it. And if you have it, especially, talk to me and we'll get my cool uncle hooked up, and we'll work it out. But yeah, so that's where we're at today, though, Ryan. We are in 1998 with this issue of TMNT.
1998. That year was popping for your boy, man. You know
what
I'm saying? I was dating a cute girl. I was covered in CK1. You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness.
I had long hair shaved on the sides.
Woo!
You know what I mean?
Stop!
Like,
Don't hurt him, Ryan. Don't hurt him.
They thought I was about to do. They thought I was about to do Columbine, but don't worry, because someone else.
Geez.
No, I was that guy, and listening to KMFDM, and it was great.
Oh yeah.
So that there was that. Let's see. So we have some emails, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
We're gonna start off with Christopher Lefebvre. That's what I understand from chat. That I was corrected on that today. I'm very glad before I read your email, because I would have been like, I'm going to say Lefebvre until you tell me not to.
Right.
But then Christopher told me not to.
He
so
did.
now it's
That's what he
Lefebvre,
told
like
us.
it is. Essentially Lefebvre. And he says, hey, gents, new patron here, and listening to the latest No Homework. Now, the No Homework Zone is a podcast. If you become a patron, you get access to now 100 episodes of bonus content of us talking about random crap. Sometimes it's Turtles related. Most time it's just us related.
Right.
And this new patron here, Christopher, he was checking it out. And he says, I thought it was amusing you were talking about bathroom doors being so disgusting, because we were just talking about how gross that is.
Yeah.
I wanted to share my feedback about a new situation I've not seen before. There was a public bathroom with a plate that jutted out into the bathroom for you to step on to pull the door open from inside with your foot.
Yep.
I had never seen this before and highly appreciated that. Just thought I would share. Yeah, my first one of those was, I think, at a McDonald's.
Ooh.
And I was just like, thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Who made, hopefully somebody made millions of dollars off of that, because that's
it had a little sign next to it.
Right.
Of Ronald McDonald's big clown shoe. And you know what it said?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
It said, your shoe will know what to do.
Your shoe would know what to do. It said that?
Your shoe will know what to do. And there was a huge yellow Ronald McDonald size 80
oh my
goodness. There. And that's all it said. This. It didn't say at the bottom like use this foot thing to pull you to you have to touch the bathroom door. It just said your shoe will know what to do, and that's all it said. It had a big metal like clamp coming off it.
That's amazing. Like, oh my goodness!
My shoe knew exactly what to do, and I was so happy, because here's my thing. I think this ought to be law, straight up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Senate, what are you doing? If your bathroom does not have paper towels stocked, if it does the air dry boy,
then you have to.
You need to have the shoe knows what to do. You know what I'm saying? The shoe needs to be the shoe clamp needs to be know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it should be federal crime, honestly.
It should be
to not have that. If you only have air, how many times have we been stuck in the bathroom? Your boy Father Preston. Let me tell you this little story about your boy. Your boy Father Preston will not do anything related to that inner handle.
Yeah.
If his shoe doesn't know what to do and there's no paper towels, your boy will wait.
Yeah.
He will wait for someone to walk in the bathroom so he can get out. And I feel the hell out of that. I normally go back inside of the t-shirt on that.
That's kind of what I do.
Because that's the area the farthest away from my orifices and stuff. And I just tell myself, I'm not going to get sick off that. I really hope I don't.
Right.
But yeah, there's that. He says, additionally, you talked about the worst feet.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did.
So you could look forward to on the Homer Zone, and pretty much described the nightmare creatures, the Wheelers from the 80s film starring Fairuza Balk, Return to Oz.
Yes.
The film gave me nightmares as a child. Last bit, you note a Discord on your Patreon, but I found no note of anyone on Patreon, a Discord, and a Facebook group. We need to share the Discord link. I meant to do that this week, and
we did.
My birthday happened, and it got away from me.
We
do have
already
an active
did.
Discord.
We already did.
You shared it.
I did. I put it in the Patreon. It should be there. I think Chris already signed up.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Oh crap. Okay, I wasn't monitoring Patreon.
No. You're good. You're good.
Whoops. Whoops.
But yeah, that should be taken care of now. But again,
that.
let us know if there's any other issues with that. But yeah, do you remember Return to Oz at all? Like, do you remember that movie?
No.
So
I
remember.
I somehow did not see that one.
So I saw it. It's one of those weird movies that I just have a memory of, and I was so like taken with it for some reason that I probably assuming, given the picture that Chris sent with his email and some Googling that I've done, obviously it was nightmare fuel, and that's probably why I was like,
absolutely,
into it.
Totally
But I remember like telling kids at school or just wherever I was at, like talking to people, being like, "Yo, like, did you know there's a sequel to like The Wizard of Oz?" And no one believed me. No, everyone was like, "No, you're crazy. That didn't happen."
It was that whole like, there's a code to give Mario a gun, and you're like, no, like everyone was treating you like it was that horse shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, my dad worked on Super Mario Brothers, bro. Like you basically like that BS.
Yeah, that's exactly how they treated it. And I remember being so upset that no one believed me. But I was one of those kids that had like the very basic cable, if the few times that I had cable. So occasionally Disney would do like their summer preview or whatever it was. So you'd get the channel for like a week or two. And so I'd just like purge or binge that constantly. So but I couldn't watch it again if it was going to be like, well, next month we'll show it again. I'm like, no good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. But Chris, thank you so much for writing in, and thank you for being a patron, Chris, and all that. And we really appreciate you. And thanks for being in chat earlier too. The
next email is from longtime listener John Klein. You know what I'm saying?
John Klein.
John Klein comes in talking about TMNT Image 13.
That's where we're at today.
You finally made it to issue 13, probably the issue that defines the Image run the most. This is the issue that finally made me appreciate Raphael, who's always been my least favorite turtle. The Archie run was nice, but he kept making boneheaded mistakes with Ninjara that I understood was in character with him being a hothead teenager, but it was still hard to watch. Maybe more disappointed than hard. Image 13 really felt like Raphael's promise of the premise came to fruition. He always had this leadership drive to him, but when there's already an established leader, that automatically puts him in second place. But you remove that and give him his own team, and he gets to shine and prove that he was always this great. You're also in the midst of the Forever Space Saga, which that I still believe is the reason the Image run didn't last as long as it should. It just keeps dragging along.
I see what you did there.
If only the volume just kept the NYC, the Foot, the mob stuff, they could have made it to issue 25 in the original run. And I like Turtles in Space. Hopefully one day they get to do this as a movie, but the Image Space stuff is just forever. But issue 13, Raphael, what a moment. John Klein. You know what I'm saying? Thanks so much, John. That is like a little bit of a preview. We're going to be getting into this moment, which I'm actually, this is the kind of email I really like, actually, because it's about content we're going to cover. Right. And I get to read it beforehand, so we get to know your opinions about it kind of beforehand. I like that it wasn't too spoilery. But going into the review, I think it's interesting to kind of know where you're at, like what you thought, whether you like this issue, don't like this issue, and why, because it kind of adds context, like for me reading it, frankly, like, and it helps us add it to the show. So we've had this kind of email before, and I always really like it. So thanks,
definitely.
John, again. And,
definitely, John. Thank you so much. Because you're absolutely right. Like that now. And it also helps, and as most longtime Turtletarians know, we'll read issues individually and have an opinion. Yeah. And then when we come together and form the Voltron that is our podcast, we change our total opinions often, where we enjoy it so much more. Yes. So when you write in and let us know your thoughts on things, like especially if we've already read the issue,
like independent of us. So
Ryan,
I'm a big fan of that. Yeah.
So Ryan and I've already read this issue, so like you're not spoiling anything for us, and you're not that your email had any spoilers in it, but
that's why I really liked it, actually.
Precisely,
it's a big thing about it, because we could read it to people, like for example, who are listeing right now that have not read it,
right,
and they're going for the review and they're not blown out, right?
Precisely,
they get a preview.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's so we really appreciate that, but it also helps us, and everyone here at Turtle Soup, to like, I don't know, I just like having that other perspective where, because
absolutely,
I don't know, I got a sense of like, I can't articulate this the right way, but I can just say that it's enjoyment. Like that's probably a broad strokes thing of reading John's email and knowing that we're about to talk about this thing that he really liked a lot, and I really liked it a lot. But we'll save that for later. But still, there's something that's just like the communal like enjoyment of Turtles, which is why we're all here. But it's just nice when I don't know, everything comes together. So so thanks.
So
thanks,
I wanted
John.
to make a quick note, just based off of some I'm seeing in chat really fast.
Okay.
So the Discord is open to patrons right now. That was always like Discord's inception was that it was going to patrons were going to get like a first access, right? But Mitch Fletcher, made a comment that kind of intimated like he didn't really get into Discord before he ran out of money, and I'm just here to tell you that like Discord's plan is not to be only for patrons right now.
Oh, yeah.
For going in the future. You know what I mean? Like the idea initially was that like, and it's still going to be that way when we open it up, is that patrons will have like cool benefits. They'll have access to like rooms and chats and different stuff that say if you weren't a patron you don't have access to. But all the general chat stuff and the different like subdivided stuff that I kind of built for it and the chat stuff is going to be available to everybody. We just our Discord rollout was kind of slow, and then got kind of caught behind a lot of things. So if you're, so I'm saying if you're not a patron, you don't have to be a patron to get on there. Eventually, like we are going to open it up, but right now we're just giving the patrons a chance to run around in there a little bit. So
right.
Don't feel disheartened.
Don't feel bad.
I can't be. I'll never get on Discord. You will. But patrons will have some extra stuff on there to make their patronage worthwhile as well. So it's kind of everybody gets a piece. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to clear that up because I was like, oh, I hate feel bads like that. Like we spent the pregame show talking about paywalls and being cut out of things. And stuff
we
like
did.
Like, didn't really want it to feel that way. But yeah, like the Discord, I'll wear it because whenever we do the Patreon rewards, Eric always puts himself on the firing line and goes, guys, y'all, it's me, y'all gotta be bro, like whatever. And I'm like, oh no, Eric, it's fine, don't do that. And Eric's like, I'm gonna do it. He gets on the show like, I'm so sorry, and stuff like that. I gotta say, like dead serious. Just personally, I told Eric I would take care of Discord. I can still edit Discord. I'm doing everything with it, but it got kind of bogged down, and I want to apologize for the fact that it should already be opened up to everybody, and that I kind of like bungled that rollout, but we're gonna work on it and get it up there. So just wanted to jump out there and just own it for everybody.
There you go. Well, thank you. And also, if you're worried about like not getting like stuff like that, we're pretty slow to not to take people out of things. So just don't be too concerned because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to not be a patron this month or whatever. It's
so the original, just like a little bit of things on that, like because I am going to put more work into Discord, and everyone will be hearing a lot more about it. The whole idea is that patrons were going to be our first shot at moderators, like when we require moderators eventually, stuff like that. They had benefits set up, but it was definitely a place where everyone was supposed to get together, and I don't want anyone to feel like, oh well, I got to become a $1 patron to get into the Discord, and then can't don't worry, you're gonna. It'll happen.
But we'll feed you baby birds.
It's hard. Well, it's hard to walk that line because obviously we love patrons. Like our patrons support us, and we love that. And I never want to short sell how they support the show. Right. At the same time, I understand that Patreon money is something not everybody has, and I never ever want people to feel like I didn't have the $5 surcharge a month to get all the access that, what I mean? I didn't want people to feel that way so it's always kind of hard where it's like we appreciate the support we get so much and don't want to underwrite that or kind of downplay that. At the same time, we don't want to make it feel like if you aren't a patron you don't get all this stuff. Right. Like that you're just cut out of everything. Like we had to make a thing when we actually opened up Patreon. I remember there was concern about that the show was going to be behind a paywall. Yeah. I remember getting emails of people talking about that. I remember having to say, no, this show will always be free.
Oh yeah. No, we're always going to do it.
You can get maybe some different stuff, different merch and swag. You can get access maybe if you're a patron, that's different. But we're never going to take that away. And I don't know why I'm still going on about it, but I always want to make it very clear that Turtle Soup is democratized. You know what I'm saying? And it always will be. So
yeah,
there's that. So let's see here. We have some news to cover. And there's a couple news stories, and I'm gonna let Eric take us right into that.
Ooh, all right. Let's see here. All right, we got news. News, everyone. Woo! That's that time again. Channel 6 to Midnight News.
It is that time.
I'm your boy Eric Crosby.
It's your boy on location, Ryan guy.
On location.
I just want to tell you where I'm on location.
That's true. We got to keep them guessing. So yeah, we got some stuff going on in the world of NECA toys. If you know them, you love them generally.
Naked?
I would like to think
Naked toys.
Naked toys. That's
what?
The D
That's
is
not
silent.
Appropriate.
The D is silent,
That's
much
not
like my
appropriate
own.
for YouTube.
It's not, but you know what? It's appropriate for Turtle Soup. So, all right. So NECA Toys, the makers of wonderful Turtles products that you can generally find at Target, unless you're Ryan and you go and you can't find them.
Can't find it at my Target.
They
back to you, Easy.
Oh, thank you. They have released more images of some upcoming figures, and I think the first announcement of Casey Jones coming out, but we'll talk about him in a second. They just showed, let's see, where is it? They showed more pictures of the Utroms. So, yeah, this is really exciting. We first saw the Utroms, I think, whenever Fugitoid was announced, or something around with Fugitoid. They showed some images, and they reissued or re-released some more press images showing you like all the different articulation and different things to make you to buy. It's a promo shots, the stuff that to let everyone know, the realtors and stuff like that. Realtors, what am I talking about? The retailers. There you go. To buy this figure and put it in their stores. So we've got your boy. The what are we calling these, Ryan? Are these exoskeletons? Is that what we're calling them? Okay, that makes sense to me. I always get confused.
Android bodies.
That's true too. That could work with it. Yeah, we see them here in a couple different shots. This one's one of my favorites, just with them the brain blown out and then the brain inside the stomach crawling out as it does. And yeah, it's pretty neat. These look really good, and I don't know, there's not a lot new from what they've already shown, but I just wanted to talk about it again because, and I actually don't have the image here because I don't know what happened to it, but there is an image of an extra accessory that this thing came with. So let me run down the accessory list real quick. So they come with interchangeable hands, two interchangeable heads, blasters, tools, which you can see here, and the thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't have an image of, which is really irritating, is that it comes with a sippy cup, Ryan. It comes with a sippy cup, like just a cup with a straw, and it's just like, what is this about? And so I looked it up, and if you're wondering, you can Google it and find it yourself. And in post, I'll try to throw it up here because we're live streaming right now. But yeah, it comes with a sippy cup, and I was like, what is this? Turns out, do you remember the first time, Ryan, when we were reading through Mirage and we saw the Utroms out of their skin? They were in the break room.
Yeah.
Dude,
their bodies were all slumped over and they were like hanging out.
Yeah, that's where the cup comes from. So that cup is
they would need a sippy cup.
Yeah, and so they included that.
They don't have like the best appendages.
That's true.
I mean?
That is true.
Like they might spill it. I mean, like it might have been a offshoot futuristic reference to Melanie Martinez's song "Sippy Cup," which is a great song.
Could have been.
But yeah, I'm happy with that. NECA. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And I don't know, like I love this stuff like that, and I always wanted to do like a special segment on the show where we go through the accessories, like, and talk about where each one came from and like the history behind
where
it.
they come from and stuff. Yeah,
and because the Utroms are just so cool, and especially these and that reveal when you turn the page and you see them like that, it's just I remember we were blown out by it and we loved it. But yeah, so like, I don't know. I want to know if people are going to be how many of these people are going to be buying, because like, I don't know, if money was not an option, I'd probably at least get 3, because I think that's
why I was going to ask about the army build a little bit with that, and about like how many do you need?
Yeah,
like, I guess you need one. I guess you need one.
One, yeah.
And then I guess the rest is wants. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think 3 starts to make it like I've got multiple of these.
Right.
Like 2 feels like I got 2 of these.
Yeah.
Like 3 feels like, oh, I got these, bro.
Exactly. 3 is a good number.
4 to me would be ideal because it's an even number and they
That's
can sit
true.
around a table in a little diorama.
They could. They totally could. For me, I know with G.I. Joe Classifieds, Classified, yeah. I'm getting 3 of each one that I want to army build to start with. So like if they go up for pre-order on a website or whatever, I'm going to be getting 3 pre-order 3. And then if I see one in the store, I might pick one up. That way I have options. And that makes it all come together. Exactly. So
I like that. I like leaving yourself a little something to pallet dive for.
Precisely.
Something to hunt in the wild.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like a little snack. It's like you got you're gonna get dinner. Oh. Dinner's on the table. You got it, but you're out. You want something to tide you over. You might get hit by a train, not get hit by a train. You might get caught by a train, and those are 2 totally different things. And you can't get home yet, so you want to eat something. So that's what the snack is for having
just a little something tied you over. And you know what? If you're in that place, you're like, man, I'm kind of feeling down. I'm gonna go check the store. I mean, when you've got something you can army build out of, like you're kind of like, well, I mean, I'll just pop on one of those again.
Exactly.
You get that little shot of serotonin,
right?
Bring you back up a little bit.
Bring you back up a little bit.
I got that.
That's what it does. That plastic crack. So
plastic crack get you another hit. You know what I mean? Like that's beautiful.
It is. Well, speaking of things that are beautiful, Ryan, somebody's coming.
Yes,
and it's your boy Casey Jones, Ryan.
Oh my God! Look out!
Look out! Casey's coming.
Look out! He's coming.
Yeah,
Casey's coming.
So and he's coming through the window right now.
Who?
And this is awesome. Casey Jones, just one of the best characters from the TMNT universe, like hands down. Just such a really cool character that seems like it would be just a stereotype, but somehow transcends that, and I love that. And always really been a big fan of Casey Jones. It's called Heart. That's true.
In the comics.
That's true. And
they did not give him that in the animated series.
They did not. Yeah, in the animated series, he is a lunatic, and I love him for that too. But here we got Arnold. I think that's his name, Arnold Jones or Kate. No, Arnold was his dad, right? Isn't that what? Yeah. Arnold was his dad.
Yeah.
But Arnold, here's your boy Casey, and Sans mask, if you will, which I think that's a pretty good likeness to how Casey shows up. Throughout the Image or Mirage comics.
Absolutely, no. That's I was gonna comment on that. That is that is legit.
Yeah, and so that's really cool. And he comes with a bunch of accessories, as he should, because that's what his character does. And essentially, it's just a lot of sports equipment. So he's got, let me see if I've got a rundown of it in here somewhere. So he's got interchangeable heads and hands, a removable mask, 2 baseball bats, a hockey stick, and a golf club and bag to carry them all in. So that's really cool. And then one of my favorite things, especially with Ninja Turtles, is their scale. How does he scale with the turtles? And so this is how he's going to scale with the NECA turtles that they put out forever ago. And
beautiful.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Like so let's just say he's about 6 foot. They're somewhere around 5 foot. That makes perfect sense. And yeah, that looks great, and I love that so much. So I am really excited about Mr. Jones here, and I think he, especially with the mask, him in the mask just looks perfect to me. And so I am really, really excited about this figure, and because my Turtles shelf is never complete until we get a Casey Jones. And so here we go.
Hockey stick and golf club. I'm thinking a cricket bat.
Oh yeah, but you got to understand what crumpet is to understand what the cricket.
You got to know what crumpet is. Understand cricket. You know what I'm saying? I think the cricket bat is just that's just made to whip someone's ass with. Like,
right.
It's also, to me, for some reason, a cricket bat feels like a non-lethal version of a baseball bat.
Yeah,
it feels like that thing catches enough air. I'm not saying you can't kill someone with a cricket bat. I'm just saying it feels more like you're gonna like spread that hit out among like a wider area, and you're more like, and that's one to grow on,
right?
You know what I mean? Versus a baseball bat is like I'm making like blunt force impact to you, like in a very tight area,
right?
And you know, I hope you didn't pay money for it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Exactly. I hope you didn't pay money for that
part. I would like to see a cricket bat. That'd have been a cool reference to the films and stuff. But I think that might be it. I've always thought that a golf club was like a weak weapon. I understand that he has the golf bag, so the golf club's traditionally in the golf bag. I get that. But golf clubs, like if you've ever actually handled one or seen one break or just been able to snap one over your knee, it's like a really bad weapon to beat someone up with.
It is. It's anytime I've gone to beat up anybody with a golf club, it's never worked out well.
Yeah.
It's never, it's all, I'm never par for the course or the corpse, if you will. And so it never works out. So, but I'm going to new drink this. So what if the golf club, well, I guess you could do it with the hockey stick too. That's true. But like, what if the golf club is for projectile necessities? So if he's got something he needs to launch, like he can just use that instead. Now he could do it with the hockey stick too.
Except Casey's never been an accessories guy. Casey's never been like, I'll launch this gas bomb into you and go in and beat your ass. Like he's never been that guy.
Right.
Like he's always been the like, I brought the tools to do the job right now. Close quarters combat type man.
That's true. I guess I mean that he's prepared if someone throws the gas can at him, he can hit it back. But I guess you could hit it with anything. If they're already throwing it in the air, okay, it fell apart. But I was trying my best to advocate for the golf club.
We saw what people were doing in France during all those riots, right? Like the cops kept shooting tear gas into the crowds.
No.
So they just started bringing tennis rackets.
Oh my goodness.
And hitting them back.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's the perfect, it's like badminton rackets. They're like the perfect thing to hit a lobbed gas shell back with is just a tennis racket. And it goes right back where it came from, because it turns out that gas can bullet is basically a shuttlecock from badminton. And it goes right back to where it's supposed to go.
Oh my goodness.
Just aims right back.
That's amazing.
I feel like actually instead of the golf club, I feel like a tennis racket would have actually been more apropos.
Okay, there you go. That could have worked
for doing that kind of thing. Like say a thrown knife, like pa-tang, like just goes back around. Like that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be.
What about a highlight?
What's a highlight? I don't know what a highlight is.
Like a highlight. Oh my god, chat's got to help me. I don't remember what the highlight like scoop thing you wear. What is that called? Do you know what I'm talking about? They wear that like kind of like shallow like scooped hook thing on their hand, and like they basically launch the ball out of it.
Oh, is that like?
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called
vaguely.
It's called a highlight something.
Oh, okay.
Is it a highlight stick? Is that what you call that?
I don't know. Is chat getting in on this? Because we don't know.
It's just called a highlight. Is it just called a highlight? Either way, not to derail the news segment, just saying that might be kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that would actually probably be another better solution for redirecting projectiles, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm really taken with what we got here on display, and I will be purchasing him day one. So that's without question. But so I think we've got some movie news. Ryan, you want to take it from here?
No. Yes. The redheaded stepchild of the current TMNT incarnations. You know what I'm saying? Rise of the TMNT. Netflix released a trailer for the upcoming Rise of the TMNT film, the movie, that's set to release August 5th. So, having seen the trailer and Eric and I have only seen the first episode of Rise. That's part where we have to kind of say like, well, it's kind of hard because we're on the journey and stuff, and that's all we could do.
Yeah.
Just get you apparently like this universe's Casey Jones is from the future, where the Krang have won and he is sent back to stop them, like kind of Terminator style or something. And Raphael's the leader, right? I mean, we kind of saw this, announced all this kind of when it kind of first came out,
right?
It dates back to 2018. It got canceled in 2020.
Yeah.
And on the screen, you can kind of see the new incarnations. I don't think that Rise was helped by a poor toy line that no one was excited about, that no one asked for those toys, really.
Yeah.
Except maybe Raphael. I heard some good things about people liking Raphael to mod him and stuff because he was just a bunch of plastic they could use to make a badass Raphael.
He was a hunk of plastic.
But that's yes, but that is beyond the point. There is a trailer for a movie August 5th. I'll watch it. I don't know if that will, having not seen the series, will affect me. I kind of hope that it can't affect you that much because I don't think a ton of people watched Rise. So if they're hoping that the movie's gonna have success, it probably doesn't need to be like a Twin Peaks situation where if you missed an episode, you don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
I feel like the movie needs to kind of do its own thing a little bit. But I would say that I'm moderately happy and excited that this is happening. And on the new drink side of things, I hope that I really like it. I hope that it kind of like turns me on to the series. It has me go back and check it out. This is one where I'm really curious. Before I ask you what you think, I'm really, really curious to hear what all of you think. I know that we have Turtletarians who have watched Rise and enjoyed it. I know we have Turtletarians who, that's not their scale and they kind of backed off. How do you guys feel about it? I really want to hear that in the chat, and I really want to hear that comments here, and then, of course, email turtlesoupshow@gmail.com because it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
But Eric, what are your thoughts? Where are you at on this movie release?
I watched the trailer. It's well done. The cartoon is well done. It's very frantic and very colorful.
Yeah.
So that the franticness of it kind of deters me from it a little bit because it seems like I can't really focus on what's going on. But
its whole selling point, right, was that it had Samurai Jack centric people involved. Like
if I recall correctly,
yeah, it was kind of in that atmosphere.
Right, and the voice casts are great. All the actors that are in the show are fantastic, and I liked the disproportionate sizes of the turtles. Now I don't think Raphael should be like is a brick house like he is, but nevertheless, it's still cool because I've got all my other turtles iterations, and there will be countless more before we leave this earth that we can enjoy. And so the thing was that it was always like Raphael was the leader and stuff. But from what I read, this practically or pretty much resolves that and gets the turtles to where they're supposed to be, where Leonardo is the leader by the end of this whole thing, or he was at the end of the series. So that kind of rectified it for me when I was doing a little bit of research for this. But the trailer looks good. It looks like a Terminator thing. Like you said, Casey comes back and, wants to tell them something about the past or from the future, from the past, all that stuff. And I was intrigued. I'm always intrigued by turtle future stories for some reason. Like that's always a thing for me. I guess because we hyper focus on their teenage years, and that the few glimpses we get of them as elder turtles is kind of like really sweet because it's such a commodity. And I'm interested to see what happens with it. Like I think from what I was gathering is that the general consensus is that if this does well enough, Netflix might pick it up and kind of or sublease it from Nickelodeon or whatever and try to get it going again. Now, do I want that? From what I know of it, and I haven't given it a complete fair shake. Like you said, we watched the first episode and it was okay, but I think that I don't know. I kind of feel like it's time for something different, and I think with the Seth Rogen animated movie, I think that's gonna need to take precedence. But
I don't want to stifle anyone's creativity, right? I don't want to say that you can't take your take on the Turtles and have that going on, because there's currently IDW and a lot of other takes, Last Ronin and stuff. There's a lot of other takes on the Turtles happening right now.
Yeah,
but I kind of feel like it's a weird strategy to play. I mean, like Rise itself, you and I kind of agreed was a weird flex anyways, coming off of the 2012 series that was highly lauded.
Absolutely.
To run this back so soon after the end of that series, we felt like it was an odd play to start with. Now it feels like we're getting in the way of Seth Rogen's effort with his TMNT film.
Right.
And I feel like what we need to be doing is, and this is just kind of, once again, I don't know all the details. I don't want to stifle anyone's efforts or or downplaying his efforts, but I kind of feel like we should be getting ready to rally behind whatever Seth Rogen gives us because it's the freshest take. It's the newest incarnation. And we should be ready to have that be a cartoon. We should be ready to support that fully. Rise has had its time. I feel like that the kind of community has spoken on Rise. And while this movie's cool, and I really, and it might turn out to be the fact that, the case that this movie gives the Rise of the TMNT a chance to conclude. Which I think is great because you can go back to that volume and it'll have a conclusion.
Right.
But maybe this, and then the idea that Netflix might, like, based on viewership, go ahead into animation for more Rise to me feels like that's working at cross purposes. Whatever Seth Rogen gives us is going to be marketable, and I feel like to continue on this wave in an animated series, you need to get out of the way of him and let and kind of see what his vision is, and then be ready to support that with whatever you have.
Right. I agree. Now, like, I will say, like, that almost every incarnation of the Turtles has something that you can enjoy about it. You know? And even the Michael Bay films, or the Platinum Dunes films, like, there was elements of that like, my man, like, that meant something to us. And so that's really cool. So we might not have liked it on the whole, but there was elements of it, and I think that that's one of the beautiful things about the Ninja Turtles is that you have a lot of people working on this stuff and that love different ages and all kinds of places these people come from that love this thing. And when we make it, the next time we make it, we're going to take elements of what worked with this, and it's constantly like distilling it down to like a really good thing. Kind of like how the IDW comic is essentially the culmination of everything before 2012. And all the good stuff and all the bad, and just taking it out and repurposing it and doing all that. And it is the epitome of, or the epitome, whichever one you want to use, of what really
pronounced the right way or just the wrong way,
whichever one you want. Your mileage may vary, but that is like a shining example of what that is. And I hope that the people won't completely disregard Rise, that they'll look at it and be like, that worked, that didn't work, that was cool, that wasn't cool. For instance, I think that, and I want to get your thoughts on this real quick, and then we can move on. But if I'm not mistaken, the 2012 Nickelodeon TMNT animated series, that was the first one to refer to the Utroms as the Krang. I believe it had 2 A's or something like that. Now, this one apparently, that's the thing with the future, like the Casey Jones was coming to stop the Krang. Now, do you think that why do you think they changed it from the Utroms? Why do you think that they moved away from Utrom and just stick with the Krang?
Because Krang is easily more recognizable.
Okay.
People, it's a case of people would probably call them the Krang anyway.
That's a good
Krang
point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Because that's just imprinted so much on culture, whereas Utrom never was, right?
Yeah,
that was a decision made in 1987, right? They never even used the phrase Utrom in the 87 animated series. They never even say Krang. They act like Krang is the only of his kind, right? They don't talk about other Utroms, right?
Right.
So I think the Krang is a cool thing. They would have called it that anyway.
That's true.
Why wouldn't you just call it that?
Yeah, and I think Utrom is a hard word to. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Like it's kind of it's almost like U-turn, but not quite, and it's just very very strange. So, but yeah, I was just curious but that's pretty. You made a good point that people would just call them.
It's
the
Krang
anyway.
It's the identification. Krang is also like, I mean, just technically, if you think of business wise, like part of the TMNT IP, and they're going to want to re-up on that, right? They're not going to let Krang just slide, you know what I mean? And like, people forget about him, you know what I mean?
I just you, when you said he was part of their IT, I just thought about like them having tech issues, and Krang just comes in. He's like, "What's up, guys?"
Krang is certainly not part of the IT group. Krang had in the 87 series, Krang had to have Shredder build his android body. You're like, what? Like, Shredder shouldn't know that.
No, he should.
Krang is not part. He's trying to steal that tech.
He is.
But as far as fresh tech, he
don't do machines.
You know what I mean? Like that's it.
He doesn't do machines. Well, So Well, guys, let us know what you think about this. Were you excited about Rise coming back for this movie? Did you watch it from beginning to end? What was it that you liked about it, and what worked, what didn't work? We want to know. Let us know. Email us, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can leave comments below as well, and let us know what your thoughts are on this and just everything regarding Rise. If we're sleeping on it and we need to get into it or whatever the case may be, definitely let us know. And I think that's going to do it for news, Ryan.
Yeah. So for Channel 6 to Midnight, this is your boy Ryan speaking for Eric. Grab a snack. We'll be right back.
Did you just blow a kiss at the end? That was beautiful.
I absolutely did.
I love that.
I absolutely did. Grab a snack. We'll be right back. Let us know what you guys think about that ending phrase. I started out kind of loving it, and then I for some reason I feel like we need a different one now.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Well, we can mix it up.
I don't know.
I got the logo almost done for the news, and I'm really excited about it.
You showed me a little preview.
Yeah, I got more done.
I appreciated it,
and I'm super excited about it.
So we've got some stuff in the chat to check in on before we get to the comic. Boop, 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 boop. A lot of conversation about the weapons situation. Christopher Lefebvre saying, sadly, no cricket bat. Let's see here. And Wilson accuses me of derailing the new drink that you were on. I don't quite remember.
Oh, I don't remember now. Oh, dang.
Everyone says it's just called a highlight stick, but I don't think that's the name of it. Mitch Winter says highlight, and I'm like, I feel like that's just the name of the sport, but highlight was such a weird sport that I could see where the thing they used to shoot the ball back at you would also be called a highlight.
Right.
That was weird. Fun fact. In Tampa, Florida, bro, highlight was big business back in the 70s. My dad tells me about that. We had a team that was badass, and he talks about how people used to cram the stadium to go see highlight, man. Like it was supposed to be the next like huge sport, and it just fell off. And he said that they would get so drunk at those highlight games, and like I asked him to explain it. I'm like, so what? Like, what's the deal with highlight? He's like, man, I don't remember, that ball was fast as hell. And they used to run around with that damn thing. And it was a scoop thing. And it's shit. And like, man, one time this guy got into a fight. And I'm like, okay, cool, Dad, thanks.
Oh, goodness.
But apparently highlight in Tampa, Florida was like the bomb. It was like the biggest thing since sliced bread. Let's see. John Clemens says he'll give Rise a stab. Christopher Lefebvre says Studio Trigger did the animation, if I recall, which is an amazing studio that does anime like Kill la Kill.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We've got John Clemens making April an African American really drew out some toxic fans, which was disappointing to see. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. April started the comic as ethnic. I believe that was always her intention.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. That a comic that starts in New York City. Has a woman who is ethnic, and all of a sudden we can't deal with it. And then the 87 animated series didn't help by removing the two ethnic characters that were extant in Mirage and making them both white as hell.
Yep.
I agree. Anytime you throw anything that's not pure white bread, people in the community come out and it's awful. So I completely am with that. I start to wonder if sadly that's the reason that it didn't take off like maybe it should have. Although it's hard because like there were other just funny things about it. Like it was too close to 2012. I
agree. I think that was the problem. That was a big problem.
Too different, too fast, and then they came out with that weird thing where they're like, "No, but listen, it's in the same continuity," and you're like, "What? Yeah. How is that in the same continuity?" And it just made no sense.
It didn't.
So Christopher says, "Yeah, I'll definitely watch the movie. Series has a lot more magic in it, which is different." Let's see. M says could be set up for a transition of some sort. That's true.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and the magic thing. The magic you talked about. That was one thing that from watching the trailer where it's like apparently they lose their magic or something. And I'm like, oh, that's a neat element to the Turtles that we haven't actually seen before.
Magic is interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, besides the mothballs, we really haven't seen much magic out of anybody.
That's
true.
What
I mean? And that was the sole property of your boy, old Dad Master Splinter.
Yeah, absolutely.
John Clemens says, "Yeah, I thought it was fine, but every fandom seems to have a bunch of expired mayonnaise tubs trying to ruin everything." Yep.
Oh, dang. That's true though. That's true. I love that.
Darth Baccio says, that they struggle with the animation style, and I think a lot of people also felt that after Rise. It was after 2012. It was difficult to get into a way different style.
Yeah.
It was just so different.
It was.
And yeah, like we start eventually getting into different things, different people's tastes. And Wilson sticking up for the Bay movies like he will.
And that's fine.
I love him for that. You know what I mean?
I do too.
I love it. I like those. I'm like, oh, good, somebody, because like that makes that opinion valid. You know
it
what
does.
I'm saying? Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. He says, "Don't let Krang go clang," which is basically what we were talking about earlier. Like, you don't want to let Krang go clang. You know what I mean? Like, and forget about him. Let's see, and yeah, just about like Darth Macchio loves the OVA from the '90s. But even,
so did we.
Rise is too wacky even for them, which right? Like, because I can see where it's like, oh, I like that '90s OVA, but like this is too much for me.
Yeah.
Right. And that is it. So yeah. Thanks for commenting, guys. And
yes,
thanks for getting involved and everything. I look so much forward to, like, after we do a news segment, to getting on here and seeing your comments.
I do too.
So it is awesome.
It is.
Eric.
Yes, Ryan.
It's time to review a comic.
Oh, snap.
This just in. Are you prepared for this?
I think I am. I think we're good.
It's Image. It's TMNT. It is Image TMNT number 13. Unlucky for some.
Woo.
But maybe not everybody.
But
this
not
cover
everybody.
don't feel unlucky.
No.
Unless you're facing it down. And then it's whoa.
You're facing it down.
Whoops. This comic was $2.95 in the USA, where everything's great. Not, and then it was $4.45 in Canada, where their money it's just pieces of wood that are stamped into coins.
Sure.
And they trade them for French fries covered in gravy and stuff.
Yep.
So,
Putin.
What do you think about this cover, Eric? How iconic is this situation?
This cover is fantastic. Once again, we are back to Image having amazing covers.
This cover is a return to form.
Yes.
Return to form for Image. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is how you move units. Like, this is how you get your boy coming in being like, what?
This is now listen. This is how you move units, okay, boys? Jesus.
So no, for real though, but dead ass like that. This is the comic that you go in for a different comic and you see that and you don't leave with the person you came in with. Yeah, that one's definitely like you're going home with that. Like, sorry, X-Men, you're going back on the shelf.
I'm in there with a little pressure, and afterwards. You're not the same as before.
You're not the same.
Changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is beautiful. So this comic, this cover, you got like the Image masthead that we've seen just on every one of these 13 times so far. Actually 14 because we did the Big Bang comics.
Big Bang.
So then you got Turtles up at the top, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the way it's been doing all the time throughout this Image run, and it's fantastic and stark white. And then you've got all this weird streaming mist of like just smoke, I guess, or just like just something, and it is enveloping this character that we've seen many a time. And this is what presumably your average Joe would call the Shredder. This is the first time I think we're seeing Image Shredder, and this is beautiful. It's got all of his features are really like like his bodily features are all in shadow. He's got a purple cape, and he's got like the gauntlets and the shoulder pads and the helmet that just looks insane, and it's gleaming from the light and all that. And he's holding his fit, everything, blood's all over him, like just splattered all over him. And he's got something in his hand, Ryan, and it looks to be like something, the very little clothes that the Ninja Turtles are known to wear, the bandanas. Yes. And so, that is very ominous, and I love this cover so much. This is so evocative. This is one that you
everything. This is one that you hang up. This is one that you jump off the newsstand. I don't know if another one does like this. Especially, and I love this perspective, like when we're going through the journey and we are trying, staying pretty chronological. So we've seen what they've seen.
Right.
If we were day and date of TMNT 1, well, then this is how we're feeling. Shredder ain't been around much in the comics.
No.
You've seen him in the movies. You've seen him whatever. But they've really protected Shredder in the comics, like in the mainline adult comic. Obviously, in Archie, he's around. This says everything to a real Turtle fan at this point, to a real gritty comics fan. This is mind-blowing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is Shredder's third appearance in TMNT Comics. Like, you have to remember, this is like, in mainline Mirage continuity.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Because what are we talking about? We're talking about, like, so we're like, let's see. Shredder was in, obviously, issue number 1 where he dies.
TMNT 1.
TMNT 1, Mirage Volume 1. He comes back, I think, somewhere around 10.
Return to New York.
Yeah, where, and then, I think he shows up. I don't think he shows up any other time, unless we're mistaken. And I don't think he shows up in Tales. I could be mistaken, but
no, it's return. It's return to New York. Mm-hmm. They go back to beat him. He's Maggot Shredder.
Right.
And you get that thin white line.
That thin white line. Woo.
And then there's that.
Yeah.
And then he's gone forever.
Right.
And now he's back.
Oh no.
Granted. Big Bang Comics.
There's that.
So yeah, like it being a prequel, right? It being like Kid Galahad, and he has a meeting with Oroku Saki, as he's taking over the Foot Clan, like fundamentally, before the Turtles ever run into him, obviously.
Right, which is interesting. So real quick, aside, because you brought up Big Bang. So I'm going back through and I'm listening to the older episodes, and we're remixing them and making them for the YouTube and all that. And I'm going through, I think it's issue number 4 of Mirage Volume 1.
Okay.
And it's the one where they fight on the rooftop and they see the Utroms, the Utrom building. And it's the one where all the foot soldiers are like, for Shredder, and they're like constantly just saying that. But then when we read Big Bang, that issue, weren't they trying to get rid of him because they didn't like him? Like,
there was a sub-faction. It's implied, at least to me, in my headcanon, just interpreting what I read there. It's implied that there were senior members of the Foot Clan that weren't cool with this.
Right.
That led a small rebellion, I'm sure, of other just standard foot soldiers who weren't about it.
Yeah.
Who led a small rebellion that Oroku Saki put down by his own hand.
Right.
And then anyone else, if you want to stay around, I'm going to need unquestioning loyalty from you.
Right.
And that's it. I also need to mention, if we're getting all like, well, actually, Shredder does make other appearances in what are now considered the guest star era of Mirage. He was in oh man, he was in that one really crazy dark kind of like Asian themed comic. Do you remember that, where he had the little teacup? And he would break the teacup and all that stuff. That was
I forgot about that.
The guy who was the guy who helped with who co-wrote.
It wasn't Talbot, was it?
Adventures.
Was it Talbot?
No, he co-wrote Adventures. It was Stephen Murphy.
Stephen Murphy. That's
Stephen Murphy had a run, and it was a Elseworlds type TMNT story just to start with.
Yeah.
Shredder has been evoked since his second death,
right?
You know what I mean, in Return to New York. But this is big time. This is continuity. This is what's up, and you know what it is. You can't get much more of an iconic cover than this, especially because they know exactly what it means to you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the history kind of bleeds through the page a little bit. You see this, and you don't know what's going on in the Turtles comics, and you see this cover, go, oh wow, that's really cool image of Shredder. Man, I wonder what he's up to. If you know that Shredder in reality in the Mirage continuity is a very rare thing, then you are blowed out right now.
Exactly.
And this will be coming home. And I'm sorry, X-Men.
Yeah, sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I mean, let's be honest, X-Men. Like, it's not 94 anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's get with it.
Yeah, back up a little bit. Maybe X-Men. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, not Jim Lee. Who knows? But great cover. I love it. The relief contrast is just absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I can say about it is that if it was black and white,
yeah,
you wouldn't know what color the bandana was.
You wouldn't know.
I don't know if they meant to tip that off.
Right.
To make you go, what?
Right.
Or if it's like, well, it's got to be colored in, so let's do it. But
right.
I would love to see this cover. I would love to see just the inks, just pencil and ink on this cover.
Right.
Like just that hard contrast would be amazing. That would have jumped up. What that would have jumped off the damn page, off the newsstand, is a black and white impressionist version of this.
Right. But I think what you're saying though is that the bandana would just look like anything else. It wouldn't look like
it would be gray, or I mean, technically, I guess it would be like a dark gray color.
Right, because all the turtles have the same color bandana in these comics too. So it would look very amorphous.
Okay, so what I meant by that, I should have explained it more. What I meant by that was that people seeing the comic who didn't know that the turtles had different colored bandanas wouldn't look at it and think that's Raphael.
Right.
They would just be like, "There's a turtle's bandana in his hand."
Okay,
like,
I see what you're saying.
They wouldn't be put off. Obviously, they all have the same color bandana. I mean, I should go back, but anyways, it was a weird point.
No, that's cool.
So comic starts out. This is Gary Carlson, writer. He's been doing a great job writing. You know, Gary?
Gary, definitely.
You're amazing. Frank Frosco on pencils, Mark Heike on inkers, the inks. Wow. Pat Brosseau letters. Eric Larson is your editor, and Josh Eichhorn is credited as Sissy.
Sissy.
We all know that he was assistant editor. Your cover was by Frank Fosco and Eric Larson. Colors by Rube Rude and iHawk, the digital coloring company, which I'm still obsessed with. 90s digital color.
Oh yeah.
So we just said by way of basically, the comics gotten pretty wide. I'm just gonna say this: the comics gotten pretty wide.
Yeah.
It started off as a nucleus of the Turtles and Splinter trying to kind of make it right. When Splinter gets turned into Bad Bat Dad, it starts to get real wide. We cross over with Savage Dragon. We meet a lot of his other friends. We go up to the spaceship where Vanguard and his lady are hanging out, and they're trying to find. They're on the track of Johnny Lee Rayburn, Death Watch if you need him, who is a convict who was a mass murderer of children.
Yes.
But during the Carter administration was sent to space in a very Strike Force moratorium kind of way, saying, well, if you got to die, might as well die in space, getting cool knowledge.
Yep.
He ran into an alien symbiote out there, came back to Earth, and started tracking down everyone that testified against him, / prosecuted him, / convicted him for his awful child murderings.
Yeah.
Turtles wind up kind of getting together, and Donnie blasts his face off, basically.
Yep.
And that's the end of that. But then they realize, wait a minute, dang, man, he's all burned up like a dang old piece of toast. But where's Johnny Rayburn? They're like, well, you evaporated him. Not that much mass. So you're basically told, I guess he's still on the run.
Right.
They tracked him down to his old hometown of Sheldon, Arkansas, which, if you need to know, is 69 miles southwest of Little Rock. Nice.
Oh.
And he is on the run. And they're like, we got to go find him. Spaceship said to. The last other thing you need to know is Raph is in the middle of a ninja den, visiting the Foot Clan when some gangsters show up and start blasting the place. And Raph is left kind of on his own, very Metal Gear style, leaned up against the old big old post, hiding, going like, oh man, like hoping he can get out of this one. You know what I mean? And also, Donnie. What?
I was going to ask you if you could, because you said the last thing, and I was like, oh, you're going to mention Donatello, because like I want you to explain to me what happened with Donatello.
You have no faith.
I have zero faith.
You have little faith.
Zero faith.
So basically, skill. So soon. And with such a excellent record. I am doubted again. Yes, I was going to cover Donatello. He's literally on the first page of the comic. He's staring me right in the face.
He is.
Donatello was half Donatello, half android body. You know what I'm saying? Symbiote also. But after the situation where Johnny Lee Rayburn, in a very like Vecna from Stranger Things 4 way, put awful visions in his head.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Of awful things.
Yeah.
Donnie's mind apparently folded like a
piece of toast.
Dang old piece of toast, folded like a lawn chair, and symbiote computer android Donnie comes out and goes, "Your brother's dead." Yeah. He's dead, and that's it. And it's me now. And the turtles can't believe it, and they're trying to whatever. But the longer Robo-Don goes saying stuff like, "No, your brother is non-existent. He told me, he overrode me and said you can't take over unless I ask for your help." Mm-hmm. And while he was fighting Death Watch, he did not ask for my help. His mind was literally destroyed. And then I took over because he wasn't there to hold me back anymore.
Yeah.
And the turtles are still grappling with this. So you got Wrath in New York City with the Foot Clan getting shot up real bad, taking 2 scoops to the chest. The other 3 turtles, Image characters Vanguard and his woman.
Her name is Roxanne Wells.
Roxanne Wells. They are also down here in Sheldon, Arkansas, looking for traces of John Lee Rayburn, a.k.a. Death Watch. How was that so basically? What do you think about that?
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. So, we open our comic in Sheldon, Arkansas, 69 miles southwest of Little Rock, as they walk around. And, it's more exposition about how Robo-Don is like, oh, by the way, like this line right here. So they're talking, and they're talking about how creepy the town is because all they've seen is corpses everywhere, and they're like, well, that's weird. And one of the turtles, Mikey makes a joke about, I keep expecting some dude with a hockey mask and a chainsaw to attack us. And Robo-Don says, why? Casey Jones and Raphael are both in New York, are they not? Mm-hmm. And they're like, ha ha ha, that's man, Don, I knew you lied, Don, you old joker. I knew you were alive. Tell us you're not dead. Tell us you're not dead. And then Robo-Don goes, I was not joking, merely stating the facts. Another of which is that your brother Donatello is dead.
Yep.
And I'm like, how savage is that?
Very.
Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Robo-Don. But Robo-Don, it's funny because it feels like he talks and he's pulling the old Data. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course.
He's pulling the old Legion from Mass Effect. Like, does this unit have a soul?
Oh,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he's basically running this. Perhaps I should choose my own name. Perhaps I shouldn't be called Donatello because, like, I hate the fact that you call me that.
Right.
And they're like, whatever, computer geek, you ain't got no name. And he's like, that's right, I don't have a name. And then all of a sudden the turtles are like, wait, no, you have to have a name. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And like, and Mikey's like, yeah, man, like, what about Macintosh? What about Hal from 2001? And stuff like that. And he's just like, well, I mean, like, I don't know, call me whatever you wish. And it's just a weird conversation.
It is.
Like,
it's very weird.
Maybe I should choose a name. Don't call me a name. I don't have a name. Give me a name. I'm like, oh my God. And that's what they're doing. So cut over to Vanguard and Miss Wells, who are rolling up to the old Sheldon Cafe to check out what's going on. They're getting the creeps too, but it's fine because Wells is like, look, listen, Vanguard, it's fine. I'm just going to go to this little diner and ask somebody like, hey, man, remember a guy named Johnny Rayburn? Remember him who killed all those like 21 kids? Like they're going to tell you anything. Like, they're
exactly.
Going to go, why are you talking to me? I'm eating a Denver omelet.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
You're not in Denver. And that's how the conversation, hey, remember that guy that killed them kids? Like, you're going to be that guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You don't want to.
I guess because she's not a guy,
oh.
Roxanne Wells is like, I'm immune to that. You know what I mean?
Could be.
She's going to walk in. So she walks in and she's like, oh man, it's full of people. It's great. They're dead.
Yeah.
And the entire building is full of Death Watch victims.
Yep.
Which are basically husks that are drained of all life and blood.
Yeah.
He needs the blood too.
They kind of look a little bit like the aliens from They Live a little bit. Like how they're in the
I can
granted,
see that
this
their
is a black and white
eyes
comic.
are really bugged out.
Yeah. And so that's a little concerning. Also concerning is the way that she walks. Like, why does she walk like that? Do you see that? Like,
I know.
That's just so weird.
I know. Yeah.
It looks like she's slipping on banana peels or something.
She walks like my son. He likes to walk on his tippy toes a lot. Like just tiptoes around all the time.
It's so weird, but I love it.
That's what I feel like I want to tell her, like 5 feet.
Right.
5 feet. Wells, 5 feet.
Wells, 5 feet.
That's why I say all day.
Right.
So they're all dead. They're
all dead.
Actually. And they have kind of like a conversation about like, oh, like there's no way he could have killed them all here at once because his powers are kind of like one by one. And Vanguard's like, well, I mean, if he did, he's way more powerful. And she's like, I doubt that. She's like, it looks like he posed them here. Like he must have like hunted them down one by one and then stocked the restaurant full because he's crazy.
That's a good point.
And that sounds pretty viable to me. I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, like, let's be honest. Like you're dealing with this kind of guy,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because like, did they just sit here and wait while they like, oh, I gotta wait my turn for him to like suck the life out of me? Like that's
yeah. He obviously is either like on Omega level or he's just like chilling somewhere.
Yeah.
But but Vanguard informs us that the same creep show is playing at the sheriff's office and the laundromat. So he's obviously killed all these people. He's made himself a little dead town.
It's kind of cute.
That's your boy,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like the Sim City, but there's no people.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Just like they're just all dead and they lay there, and they're probably pretty easy to play. Actually.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Should I make improvements to this house? No, they're dead.
No, they're dead. Nobody cares.
So they're talking a lot about this, but they decide, you know what, like we need to go see how the turtles are doing because like I don't like what I'm seeing. But before they blast off with Vanguard's very weird powers, she's like, wait a minute, I got an idea. Stop at the spaceship first, which you want to say might be for some clues or some other ideas she has, but given the fact they smooch all the time and they miss the fact that Johnny Lee Rayburn entered the atmosphere in a ship that was supposed to be gone for the last 10 years, and they didn't notice they were just smooching and doing other things, makes me think that's what they're going to go do.
It does too. I get that same vibe. Maybe she's into dead people.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Back in New York, HQ of the notorious Foot Clan, gangster hunks are walking through with smoking Thompsons, gloating about how they killed everybody. They say guns 47, ninjas 6, which is, I guess, the current death score of each side. They're saying things like, oh, we got to kill everybody in here, the boss says to, when Raphael jumps out like an absolute badass. Bow and arrow flinging, putting arrows down Thompson barrels, like everybody doesn't know what's happening. And he kind of reintroduces himself, which is kind of interesting. I guess they knew this cover was so hot fire that
that's probably a good idea. Right.
I'm just gonna buy that.
I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. Yeah.
He says, my name is Raphael, and I'm a ninja. I'm not a member of the Foot Clan, but I was here as a guest when the mob boys declared war on ninjas. If they want to fight, I'll give them one. And, he absolutely goes berserk.
Yep.
They can't shoot their guns because Dangle tripped them up.
Yep.
And he says at one point, you can't kill me. I'm an endangered species, which I appreciate. That's that Turtles humor that I like.
Oh, yeah.
And he's knocking him out, dropping all of his quips, you know what I mean? But he hears from a distance footsteps, and they're not ninjas, they are heavy guys with guns. And he's like, well, that sucks. So in the next page, you flip a page, you go from page 8 to page 9, and you get a flashback potentially of a recent Turtles incarnation. A little bit of that, the first thing that Image published.
Oh,
that Casey Jones.
That body count.
And once again, it's almost like this is like doomed to repeat itself. Raphael grabs a Thompson and just starts unloading on everyone.
Yeah.
He says, the gun is a living thing, bucking away and spitting out pieces of death until it burns my hands, but I don't feel it. A raging fire burns inside my brain. Oh, I've killed people in battle, but there is no honor in this. This is slaughter, butchery. This is murder. I may have to get one of these babies for myself.
Yeah. I was not expecting him to say that, but
mowing people down.
Just enjoying the hell out of it.
And I feel like this might be a nod to body count, because he's saying things like eat hot lead, you rats.
Yeah.
And he's keeping track of this score, and he's like, I laugh at them as they keep coming like lemmings and stuff. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, that is such a I love this gun shit, for body count. It feels the same way.
It does. It does.
So so he does all that. So we cut back over to the Turtles, and they approach the Rayburn family ancestral haunted house. They also make a mention that it's the last house on the left, which is a cool reference to a brutal film.
Yeah.
If you've never seen it, the original is brutal.
Mm.
Yeah, they're talking about how like it looks like something out of Psycho and stuff like that. But his mom is supposed to be alive still, so they're like,
Right.
well, this is a great place to look, right?
Oh yeah.
So they walk in and stuff, and this is kind of part is pretty interesting. So you have like Leo like, okay, look, we're gonna deploy, like you take the side door, I'll flank this way, whatever. And Robo Don's like, who put you in charge?
Dang.
In fact, my sensors indicate no life forms in the house. I'm going in the front door. And he just walks through the gate like, let's do it. But the turtles are a little upset. Leo even draws blade on him. But I guess that never comes to fruition.
No.
So, and they're basically saying we have to humor him until we get Donnie's brain back. Because the turtles, that's one thing that they kind of have running in the background. They're hoping that, like, they haven't given up on the fact that, like, if they catch Rayburn and maybe even destroy Rayburn, that he may be able to give, like, Donnie's, like, soul back or something. Like, they don't quite know.
Yeah, because I guess
it works. But they're holding out hope.
I think they're still in disbelief in the sense that,
absolutely.
Well, in the sense that Donnie is the fact that Donnie exists in this form to begin with, kind of like defies logic and defies what they've already known. Anyway, so the fact and being the Ninja Turtles, they've seen a lot of strange things happen already. So they have a lot of good reason to still believe that Donatello might still be there, despite what they're being told and shown. So yeah, I totally can see that.
Yeah, no, they're dealing with a villain that can like access your mind and like get into your mind and apparently like showed Donnie a bunch of bad stuff. There's reason to believe he's still around. I mean, Rayburn's still alive.
That's true.
So that's kind of like they're thinking, and so that is like it's weird. They have almost like these like kind of back alley kind of ploys against Robodon.
Yeah,
where they're kind of like let him do his dumb stuff because like like we're gonna get Donnie back, but we just gotta like keep the body around until we do that, right?
Right.
So they get in there, and it's funny because the Robodon does say it will be interesting if Donatello is in fact not deceased. So he's kind of opening up his mind to it too, which I kind of like that line.
I do too. I totally
that'd
do.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
So this part's really cool. I really like this part.
Oh,
so,
me too.
Here we go. So they walk into the house, and there is Mrs. Rayburn. She's sitting in her wheelchair, all like, hello, is somebody there? Hello? And Robodon's like, oh, pardon me, ma'am. I didn't think anybody was home. Your entire town is deserted. And she's like, it is. That must be why there have been so few visitors lately. And he's like, Mrs. Rayburn, I'm looking for your son, Johnny Lee. Is he here? And she's like, I'm not sure. I'm blind, and all this stuff. And you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. And, and okay, so can we get the middle two frames of the comic? This is beautiful. So what you have is you have art direction here,
right?
That the comic's grotesque, right? Like image art style can be very blocky and like and a little stripped. It's black and white.
Yeah.
But when you start to look at like his mom's actual face, it starts to get so creepy.
It does
really fast, and I really like it. Then when you have that panel on the left in the middle, or on the right, sorry. So you move from that over to that panel.
Yeah.
Something about the top down angle on it, it feels so menacing. I don't know why. It just feels like so like Little Red Riding Hood a little bit. There's just this feeling to it, which they just did a great job in two panels. That's two panels that take it from an old lady to what? Like, and I love it. It's just a really, really good art execution.
Yeah.
And it's just two panels in a 5-panel page. It's nothing special with layout. It's just good art.
Yeah.
As simplistic as it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "Oh, Johnny does so much for me since he's come back," and I love your boy Robodon.
Yeah.
Your boy Robodon is like Maury with those test results.
He totally is.
Your boy, he's got that envelope. He knows you're full of shit. He knows you're the dad. He knows it. He got the envelope.
He's got the envelope.
But he's going to humor you, and he's going to be like, oh, but why do you think that's not your son? He can't be my son. He looks nothing like me. Okay. Like, he's sitting back with that envelope, one leg crossed over the other, just waiting to spring it. And this is Robodon. And I love this because he's waiting. And then he
Yeah.
pulls the string now. He goes, well, he must, ma'am, since my sensors zero activity in any of your organs, including your heart and lungs, indicating to me that you are in fact a corpse.
Yep.
Isn't that correct, Mr. Rayburn?
Oh,
or do you
snap.
prefer Death Watch these days? Next panel. Oh, and he's like, I'm Death Watch freak. And he like rises from like his mother's corpse, and you're like, this is the most metal thing that's like ever happened in TMNT comics.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just so intense. And he pops out, and he's like, I don't have a voice for him yet. He's like, escaping from you in Chicago cost me dearly. I barely made it back here alive. I had to absorb all of Mama's life force to survive. And I wasn't finished punishing her yet.
Oh, my goodness.
I forgot he has the Southern accent.
He has the Southern accent.
I actually did have a bit of a voice for him the last time.
You did, I think. I
gave him that like weird, like South Carolina kind of Southern accent. Like that, like weird, like, yeah. Okay, I gotta do it. I had to absorb all of Mama's life force to survive, and I wasn't finished punishing her yet for testifying against me at my trial. You just, sorry, I messed up. You just like you and me have unfinished business, don't we, boy? I've been dreaming about you.
I've been dreaming about you. Goodness.
I could dream about you. And there's a fight. And I love it. The first thing your boy says when he gets hit is, ow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why it tickled me so much, but something about like,
because he cuts off the
I'm ready for
tentacles.
this. He does. He does. He's like, ow. And Donnie says, I will not allow you to interface with me and leech off my emotions or life force.
Right.
And he's like, what the hell are you, boy?
Which was weird because why he knows, but he knows Donnie. This is not their first rodeo.
Like he'd see, like, because he talked earlier about like, you're like me, you see, because you're half, but I'm better and die, basically.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
He said that when they met.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Donnie answers. Robodon says, technically, I'm a cyborg mutant ninja turtle with artificial intelligence and a computer brain, if you're curious. And then he's like, also, by the way, I can make any weapon I want with my own hand. And he's like,
true.
Can you turn into a coffin, boy?
I love that.
Because I'm going to bury you in it.
Oh, I love that so much. I love it so much. There's something so cool about that.
Because you can't get around him. You can't get around him because you make the saw hand. You're like, I'll take my saw hand. He's like, I'm behind you.
Right.
I'm Johnny Lee Rayburn.
Can you turn your hand into a coffin, boy? I love it, boy. Turn into a coffin, please. Do it. Do it for old Johnny.
And that's the beginning of the fight with old Johnny. So we cut to New York, and we cut to Eric. And Eric's going to tell you about it.
New York, man. Back in New York. Again. Raphael just gutting people. Gutting gangsters left and right. Just
gutting gangsters.
This is, I got to admit, I do love Raphael when he's like unleashed, when he's like doing his thing, because he's proficient and he's I mean, have you ever heard of Marvel Comics Wolverine? Have you ever heard of this character? He was like a little known character from the 70s. I think he showed in a Hulk comic or something. Canadian guy, little dude. Anyway,
he was the one from Image Comics, right? The one that Laura Komodo caught, right? No, I'm sorry, I'm good.
Close.
That was absolutely 100% not Marvel Comics the Wolverine.
No, not Marvel Comics the Wolverine. No, not him.
X-Men Avenger,
very similar,
world-renowned hero.
Right,
not him.
Famously the best there is at what he does, and supposedly
Bub. There was no Bub said.
Precisely.
I remember that.
Right.
And I remember that he was not Marvel Comics the Wolverine.
Right.
Trademark.
But the actual Marvel Comics the Wolverine is the best at what he does. So from what they tell us. And I feel like Raphael has a little bit of that. And it's very I'm totally getting that here, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
And this is just really good. Raphael just going through, and he's just talking about like the pain that he's causing people. And I'm curious. I want to tap your knowledge on this real quick, Ryan. So Raphael right here, he just skewers a guy, just like sticks his saw, presumably his sai, through the chest, like all the way through this dude's body. And he says it's a good clean kill. He felt very little pain. How do we know how much pain people feel when they're dying, and how do we gauge that? Do you have any idea about that?
I'm pretty sure that if, yes.
Okay.
You can tell by like their emotion, like their face. Like you can tell by like what they like if they're moaning or screaming or something. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Or
like
that
medically, you know that there are like ways to kill someone that cause very little pain versus ways that would cause a massive amount of pain.
That's true. I guess I was speaking more in the lines of like how ninja would kill somebody, and a ninja would know what ways. I don't know. I guess I was thinking about it more along the lines of like, I don't know, like. I don't know. It's just interesting, but you're right though. They probably. I guess I'm saying like, how do you know how much pain someone's in when they're dying? I mean, just because I can't vocalize my pain doesn't mean I'm not going through the pain. So it's just it's always struck me as a strange thing to say that it's like, oh, their pain. You don't know necessarily when you decapitate somebody that in their brain they're still not feeling that they've had their head cut off and feeling that pain. I guess we do now.
But you can like there are definitely ways that you can like kill someone that have very little like the pain itself might feel like just a sharp pinch or something like that.
Yeah,
like if you pierce their heart, that is like insta death. Like they're probably conscious for like 30 seconds.
Right.
So you can say you could have felt a world of pain in that 10-15 seconds, but that's it.
Okay.
Versus like I shot you in the stomach.
That makes sense.
And I left you there.
Right.
Like
right.
And you could die within an hour or so, like depending. Like I mean, so yeah. No, I think absolutely. I think a guy like Leo or a guy like Raph would know roughly what was a clean kill,
right?
Like, versus like a gory, awful one.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was wanting to touch on with this is that Raphael knows about killing. And because we saw last issue that I believe it was last issue where the High Council of the Foot Clan were very dismissive of the turtles and saying so much as that they do not respect ninja who do not kill so much. They have a lower level of respect for the turtles because they don't do what needs to be done. And I love that here is exactly the opposite, where we know because we've read that Raphael's just murking people all the time. But it's just nice to see that it's like you were just told that you don't kill people. Now you're just killing everybody. But anyway.
Well, I think it's very important that Raphael in this very series, Raphael had an argument with Leo and the other turtles about the fact that they don't kill on contract and why would they not do that. And then like kind of within his own reasoning, talking to Leo and thinking about it, he acknowledged later in that issue that there's a reason they don't kill when confronting the Foot Clan, because like it is dishonorable to kill like they do. Like he literally comes around on that, like in that issue. He talks about how like, no, there's a reason we don't do that. Like, we've done it before, but we don't seek out to do it. That's different and whatever. And I think it's interesting that here he is having to.
Right. And it's
like it's weird.
It is, but I love it because he's on the fence because he understands the logical reason as to why they don't do it, but he loves to do it. Every time we see him doing it, he is always like, "Yes, okay, this is me doing what I want to do," and we see him just like going through this factory kind of warehouse headquarters of the Foot, and being pursued by all these mob. What'd you call them? Mob hunks, and
Yep.
So then he's out of bullets. His gun is done. Like he's got nothing else. And he's like ran up to this. He's literally up against a brick wall. And your boy, he gets his size in his hands, much like Marvel Comics Wolverine. Although this is not him.
No, nothing like him. Yeah.
Nothing like him. But, whatever. So got him out, ready to go, ready to just die. And all of a sudden pushes back a little bit on the brick wall, starts to slip. And it is a trap door. Your boy just falls through a trap door. And I loved this. Now, have you ever been in a situation with a trap door? Like, have you ever been anywhere that's had a trap door or like a hidden thing in a house or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Really? Is it?
Yeah, my old friend Chris lived in the oldest house in Riverview. It was built
Okay.
in like 1892
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, and it had hidden doors in each of the upstairs bedrooms that went to like a
Ooh.
crawl space. And they
Oh.
were like in the wooded walls. They were hidden in a very interesting way,
Right.
where you could not see the lines like of the
Huh.
door at all
That's awesome.
unless you knew where it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it was super cool.
I'll see occasionally like the internet will show me something on whatever we're on, and it'll be like showing people like how they've taken advantages of like the rooms and underneath the stairs and all this stuff like that, and leading to all these other corridors in the house. I'm always fascinated by that, like hidden pathways and whatnot. And so this is really neat. It reminded me a lot of their the NES game, the first one with the way that the brick wall used to move away. And so I guess that was a thing that Master Splinter took with him from the Foot Clan, and brought it to the Turtles. So, but here we are again, seeing it with the Foot Clan here. And now your boy Raphael is in the dark. The door swung shut. Where am I? Anything could be hiding in the dark. And that's true. It's always true. So thankfully he's got some matches for some reason, which is, neat. Where did he put those in his? I guess he's got them in his belt. But
he was just at a bar.
So that's actually a really good point.
That's a thing you did back in the 90s, right?
He was in Chicago fighting he'll say all the Vicious Circle, but just some of them. And yeah, that's actually a really good point that he would have had that. So yeah, that's probably exactly what that was.
Yeah.
So he lights the match, and I love how scared he is and just like what, like just freaked out. And then Ryan, this I was not ready. I mean, I guess I was because I saw the cover,
it was it is a goddamn awesome panel.
But it's still so good. He turns around.
That's amazing.
And he sees the Shredder.
That face.
So I feel his presence behind me before I see him. Even in the blackness, I feel as if I'm standing in his shadow. My skin crawls down my neck to hide in my shell as I turn. The light from the match reflects off the polished steel like hundreds of fireflies in the dark. Got to admit, the last person I was expecting to run into here today or any day was him, Shredder. Oh my goodness, this is so good. The art's great. This is just fantastic, and I love it so much. And Raphael acts instinctively and just makes him say clang. Well, crash here, but like drop kicks him. And he says, "Damn you, Orokosaki. How many times do we have to kill you?" And I love that because, like they always have to kill Shredder. It's always a thing. So, but he's like, something was wrong. That was too easy. Like that, and he finds the matches and he like, picks them up and he strikes it and he's like, realizes that it's just his armor.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's like, he's so embarrassed. Raphael's just embarrassed, and he's like, I'm glad there others weren't here to see me with this because like my heart was pounding, like it was insane. But he realizes that he's somewhere. If this is just his armor, then he's in a room obviously, and there's got to be a light switch somewhere. So he messes around, turns the light on, and we get a 2-page splash of this armory, and we get all kinds of cool stuff. We get all kinds of giant weapons and an anvil and a forge where apparently that was that's how like much of a purist Shredder was, that he made his own weapons and stuff, which is badass and really freaking cool. And I want to think that he's his own seamstress too. Like I want to make him even like more of like hardcore method about this, that he's like, and I'm going to make my own armor and my own cape and all this other stuff, and give me. So I just need to go to the to the fabric store. I need to go to Joann's, and I need a lot of purple. And if they have anything that looks like a garbage can or a garbage bag, like I need that because I need that for my cape, like in the movies.
Absolutely, he's a garbage bag cape. Yep.
Need a lot of purple. Give me some pink to mix it up a little bit, and we're gonna be set. And so one of his the higher ups. The guys with the Raiden hats, they're like, Shredder, don't forget about the coupons you get from Michael's, the 20% off, but don't try to do it in the store because the roof, it won't let your signal go through on your cell phone or your shell phone or whatever they had back then. So it's a whole thing. But that's what I'm putting on it, the director's cut, if you will. But what we're actually seeing is just this forge and this armory. And at the bottom, you start to see what Raphael ran into, where the armor was like set out on pedestals, which is really neat. And as we go to the other page, which again was a splash, you get, I think, what was there, 7 of them, I think? 7 pieces of full-on Shredder armor. And they're all slightly different. Now, unfortunately, what we're reading here is the black and white issue. So it's kind of hard to tell if any of these are very like specific ones. And if you know which ones these are specifically from, let us know, turtlesoupshow at gmail.com or in the chat or comments below. But also, if you happen to pick up the IDW reprints of these in Urban Legends, which if you can, go ahead and get them because they're really good. We have them around here somewhere. And let us know, because I didn't get a chance to look in there to see if there was anything like distinctive about it in color. But nevertheless, it's still really impressive to see them in black and white. And I'm just really impressed with this. Now, the one thing, so Raphael's still talking, in his inner monologue, because, now that he knows that he's there alone, he realizes that this is Shredder's inner sanctum, and we see all the weapons and the armor, and he mentions, and I really like this a lot because it really puts things into perspective. He mentions that Shredder was the boogeyman to them, the Turtles, as kids, in the stories that Splinter would tell them. And that's just like really cool to me, because that really grounds it, but also like makes it more terrifying, because you just always heard about this villain, and then you eventually see him and have to fight him, and that's what your whole life's about. Like, I don't know, I just loved that. And so this reminds him that he's heard that criminals are cowardly and superstitious. And basically, this is where he decides to put on the armor and see if they believe in ghosts, is what he says. So, that's pretty cool. So we leave him in New York to get dressed, and we cut back to Johnny Lee Rayburn, Death Watch, if you will, and him fighting with Robodon. So Robodon is currently hooked up to Johnny Lee Rayburn's tentacles that are coming out of his head, and he is just talking about how much the pain that Robodon is going through is unbearable. Like, it's just so much. And he says that I gotta get out of this. I gotta disengage from Rayburn's tentacles, and we gotta stop him before he kills me. He's talking about how this body's energy stores are rapidly depleting. So again, it's funny seeing the robot talk about the body and like its functions and stuff. That's just a really neat thing that they're doing here. So again, Johnny Lee Rayburn's calling him boy, just saying, just boy, oh, no chance, boy, you fooled me with that trick, because he was he did something with his arm, like Don lets his arm go or something. And he's like, you know what, whatever. He's like, you got me with that trick last time, boy. But consider yourself disarmed permanently. So now Donnie doesn't have his robo arm, apparently. And so only so Johnny Lee keeps making reference to like there's only like, because Robodon's just like hanging there now. He's just like he's lifeless, essentially, and he's mocking him, saying, "Is there only one of you in that metalhead this time? Like only one personality?" Yeah, and it's funny because Lee was talking about how he was looking forward to killing both of you, and this is a really weird thing. Here, I'm going to zoom in real quick because this kind of struck me, not really interesting, but it just kind of hit a little bit. But he says, Johnny Lee Rayburn says, "I was looking forward to killing both of you." And Robodon says, "I not afraid of you, Rayburn." Like he pauses and just like he's trying to get it out. And something about that just like hit me. And I'm like, oh, dang. Like, is that Donnie coming out? Like, is that him back?
You see what I mean? He's got a tentacle thing through his actual chest.
That's true. Yeah, he's just like been
intense.
Yeah, it's bad. And that's his left arm too. So that's probably near his heart. So yeah, that's pretty rough. And still badass, talking like I ain't afraid of you. So your boy is like he says, "You can't kid a kidder, boy. I can taste your fear." And there you go. He says, "You're afraid of dying just like everybody else, maybe more." But at this point, our resident alien space sex freak Vanguard rushes in and disengages Vanguard with Donatello.
Yep.
And Rayburn's just like, oh, oops, and he's like, I'm gonna move on to you, and he starts getting.
Get you.
He's all hooked up to the big alien freak, as he calls him, and he's like, you're already history, whatever, blah blah blah, but the twerp was just an appetizer, and that makes you the main course, big boy. And then all of a sudden he's like, let's see what you're afraid of, huh? Oh, no fear, no pain, only confusion. And we see that the thing that that Death Watch is connected to has started to be like just like a muck. And he's like, what the hell? Even your life force is blah, like eating mush. And it says he can't disengage, that he is he says
he's stuck like old ding old molasses.
Like molasses. Turns out we have our boy oh goodness, what is Wally? That's the flying floating eyeball teleporter thing. He shows up and he goes, "Oh, Mr. Rayburn, meet Mr. Lurch." Now, if you don't remember who Lurch is, Lurch was we met Lurch I think last issue when on the spaceship when Michelangelo gets there, and he goes, "Wow, why are you keeping all these turtle babes, sexy turtle babes in space who just want to smooch all the time?" And then turns out that Lurch was shape-shifting into a turtle babe.
He somehow Mikey got catfished in real life.
Absolutely.
Like in person. Catfished. Instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
And so Rayburn is not having it. He is like just blown out by this, and so he's like, "Fools, you're gonna die for this." And I'm like, I thought they were gonna die anyway. Why? What? Like, were they not gonna die for? I don't know. He needs to get his act together. So anyway, they explain what Lurch is some more and talk about how he's a synthetic life form, and it seems a little insensitive that every chance that Vanguard gets, he has to denigrate Lurch. He's like, he's a synthetic life form, Rayburn, no brains, no feelings, no emotions, no heart, no soul, no fingerprints, no sticks, no sticky icky, none of this stuff. Like, he's just nothing, nada, zip, zero. Like, means nothing to me. Like, that's essentially what Vanguard is saying. It's like he's trying to prove something by saying this, almost as if Roxanne was like, "Hey, is there something going on with you and Lurch?" And he's like, No. He means nothing to me. Like, he's just a vacuum cleaner, like just a appliance. There's something else here, I think. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. But the beautiful thing about this, and again, this is something that is paramount to Turtles history. Great layouts in the artwork and subtlety. So while this is going on, your attention is focused on all the fighting and all the big bads and everyone talking and all the dialogue and stuff. But if you look in the corner there, you see a Ninja Turtle looking down saying, "Donnie?" And then you're like, "Oh, what was that? Oh, there's still fighting going on. Something's still happening." Okay, wait. So what's going on? Oh, your boy Vanguard, yeah, that's him, shoots Rayburn with the neural disruptor. And you're like, "Oh, that's got to hurt." But then you're like, "Oh, wait, over there in that corner still is a turtle still saying, oh geez. I wonder what that's just interesting." And then the fight basically leaves. We're left in the same spot we leave every time Rayburn. We're left in every time Rayburn gets blasted with something. It's just that he's gone. We thought we killed him, but he's
gone again.
He's gone again.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not really sure, but they're like, "Oh, he can't get too far. He's got to be hurting. Somebody spread out, find him. We'll find him." All this stuff, and then we still see the subtlety that, oh no, this is what you thought was the big deal is actually not. No. The turtles, which I'm not sure who this one. I think this might be Leo or Mikey, one of the two. Is like, "Oh no. Let Rayburn go." Because Donnie is in bad shape. There's a hole in his chest the size of a grapefruit. We've got to do something. And that, dude, the subtlety of the turtle, like while the action's going on in the same scene, you're getting the oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good. Robodon, oh, he didn't have that hole in him before. And even if he did, he's not being a snarky smart-ass robot like he's normally being. So there's no chance right now. So before we had like a 50-50, we could get Donnie back. We could not. If the robot's dead, then there's a 0 chance we're getting Donnie back. So yeah, that kind of hit me pretty hard, and I really appreciated that and thought it was really well done. But yeah, so we leave there and we cut back to New York City, and we got some more mob hunks just like trying to figure out where Raphael went. Just like where's that turtle boy? Like, you know, where is he at? You know, we saw him come this way, but we don't know what's going on. And
I don't know what happened.
So yeah, and they end up going towards the wall where we saw the trapdoor is, but they don't know it. Like, they don't know that it's there. So they get very quickly surprised as they realize that it must be a hidden door as it flings open, and what I thought was a fist actually I think is a foot. Just totally kicks the shit out of this dude. And the foot has it's Shredder's gauntlet, and it's just like brutal. Just wrecks this dude's face. And then you see a caped figure that looks like Shredder. It's his armor, everything else. And you see that the mob guy's like, what the hell? Stay back, or oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. You know, the Christmas story. Everybody.
All three of them. Yeah.
All three of them. Shredder. But we thought, look. I love this. Look, I surrender. I'm unarmed, and just drops his gun. And I love that. That's like just that fear and just respect of the Shredder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so cool. Even amongst like a rival faction. And then we turn the page, and this is the last page. We get Shredder just turn around, swishing him, just cutting this dude open.
Swish.
And slicing, and just uppercuts him, and just like, can you do your Guile thing where he's like, where he gets blown out? Like yeah, that's what I read this. That's what I thought that guy.
No, that's what happened to that dude.
Yeah, and then one of the best ways you can end a Turtles comic, is you got your boy Shredder, now Raphael, responding to the unarmed comment saying, "Too bad," because he wanted him to be armed, and he has blood all over his gauntlets. You can see that only one eye is open because the other eye has a patch over it. And that is fantastic. And
how's that for your Shredder from the cover?
Right. Booyah! Yeah, that's the promise of the premise right there that John Klein was talking about.
That's the promise of the premise.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
really good.
That was fantastic. So I couldn't think of a better way to end that comic than that. I mean, where do you go from there? Because it's just like, that's it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I love how unhinged Raphael is, especially when he can be who he kind of sort of feels like he should, because it always feels like every time he has to hold back, he's not being himself. He's being who Leo and his dad want him to be. And he knows that there's value there. He knows that there's truth there, but that's not exactly who he is. That's why he bonded with Casey when they were out busting skulls back in the day. And it's interesting to see where he's going to go from here, because if he's donning pardon the pun, but if he's donning that suit of armor, then it's interesting too to think about it that Donnie got hurt and he's got a suit of armor. Now Raphael's got hurt with his eye and he's got a suit of armor, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, but if he's wearing that, then chances are, assuming the Foot Clan isn't totally decimated, he's probably going to be the leader of the Foot Clan, which is pretty amazing, and I'm here for that.
Great.
I'm here for that. But so what's your take? I've been talking for a while. So what's your take on this?
Oh, I love that. I think it was a really cool kind of thing to see people's expectations subverted. I think that's really cool.
Always.
And I think that when you see the cover, like before I read the comic, I was like, oh man, Shredder. And they even teased it last issue. Next issue, Shredder. Enough said, And it turns out, next issue we did get a Shredder.
We did.
It's just one of our friends. And I like it. I like it because they've been setting up the idea that the Foot Clan can have honor. It's not just an awful organization.
Mm-hmm.
It was an organization led by an awful person. and that I mean, there could be room for a different leader who maybe stuck to different rules, and maybe they're not so bad after all. They can have honor. And I think that they set that up so that when Raphael now dons this outfit, you're kind of like, oh man, I can see the door open for that.
Yeah.
Why would he potentially become the leader of the Foot Clan if they were just saying clang and knocking over soda machines and robbing people and shit? Like that's all they did. If they were just those villains, you know what I mean? So they that setup and their interpretation of the Foot Clan really does make for Raphael's potential journey, right? We don't know, if we're reading this in time, it makes it more viable.
Yeah,
which I really like.
I do too.
So going into the letters section, there was a couple small things I thought that were pretty remarkable about the letters.
Yeah.
One was somebody being like, "Man, do you hate Splinter or something? Is that why you bad bat dadded him?"
Right.
Because we had a rad rat dad, and then
we
did bad dadded him, and they just say, "I Splinter a lot." This is Gary Carlson writing, so this is your head writer. I Splinter a lot, but we wanted him out of the way for a while so the turtles couldn't run to him for the answers to all their problems. We'll resolve the whole bat rat situation soon, I promise.
Oh, okay.
Which had to make you feel kind of cool if you're reading the comic at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people wrote in with like their summary kind of the Shredder's appearances, right? Like they're like a couple long letters explain to people who haven't been reading Mirage, like what's Shredder's history in Mirage, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool to get a recap from them, and it's basically what we were saying. People do notice that yes, like he does come back in TMNT number 10 to beat the hell out of Leo before disappearing when they run to Southampton.
Right.
Then of course that final appearance and Return to New York, and then the old thin white line, and then that's what she wrote. So it's interesting. So someone's freaking out about Donnie dying. And he says, relax, Donnie's not dead yet. His troubles are just beginning. There are bigger changes in store for him in the next 2 issues. And we are struggling to get this book back on the schedule. And then somebody says something about, but the thing is, Orokusaki's dead. Like this last letter says, hopefully this summary, answers your questions and buries any hope of bringing back Orokusaki, but that doesn't mean no one else can take the mantle or something like that. So somebody like really predicting it, which is interesting in the letter section. And then they answer back saying, thanks, Andre, and you're right. Orokusaki is dead and he's going to stay dead. By now you should know to whom the Shredder mantle has fallen. Let us know what you think. So it was somebody calling their shot, which is why I think they printed that, because they were kind of like, well, he's dead, but doesn't mean somebody else can't be Shredder,
right?
Which is pretty sweet.
It is.
But yeah, just an interesting thing. Yeah, obviously aware that Splinter. It's interesting to me that they for this series that they knocked Splinter out like that. That they were like, no, go be bad bat dad. Like, you literally are not accessible. You're a mumbling mutant who like can't say anything. Like so you can't be an answer.
Right.
And that definitely speaks to me of something of a intentions of like really shaking up the whole TMNT paradigm before we start Mirage, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it from the letters and stuff. But no, I mean, great issue. I see what John Klein was saying about it, and it's great. And I think that this issue is really cool because the cover is such a big deal.
Yeah.
I think when you go back, it was really brilliant to have Shredder's armor holding a turtle's bandana with blood, and you thinking, oh, he got one. Oh, he got one.
Yeah.
Especially because if you're reading the comic, Raph is with the Foot Clan, and turns out, even though they all have red bandanas in this continuity, like it's a black and white comic, so just that's what I was trying to get at before, where people might get messed up on like, I see a red bandana, that must be Raph.
Right.
But it makes sense because Raph is with the Foot Clan where Shredder would be. So there's like layers. You know what I mean? This whole deception's got layers.
Yeah.
But then you see at the end, and I think that you go, oh my God, and you look back at the cover again and go, oh, holy shit, yeah, you can't see his eyes. That's crazy.
Right.
And then when you look closer, you see he's only got two knuckles.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the front art really closely, he's only got 2 knuckles on his hands. But these are all things that like you didn't think of when you first saw it.
Right.
And I love that.
And if you're just casual, you might still not recognize. You still might not know. Like if you're just breezing through it, you might like breeze over that. But I will say that I'm kind of sick of the Johnny Lee Rayburn stuff. That's been dragged out. That's the drag on part. I am sick of that.
The drag on. I agree with that too from John. I like this whole Rayburn shit. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like we keep blasting you to next week. You get a hold of somebody. You're like, I'm going to suck your blood, sucker. And we're like, Pow! It's like, he got away. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. No, I'm
How many times is he going to brutalize Donatello before we figure this shit out?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I agree.
And like he killed a whole town of people. And Vanguard's just like, you know, I'm in this universe where I know Savage Dragon, I know all these other people. Arkansas has got to have some superhero. He could have just been like, "Hey man, just letting you know, there's this dude killing people. You might want to check it out." You know, my girlfriend works for the news. Like I could just put it on the news, and then other group of people who aren't tasked with just looking out for the Earth in regards to my own villains could go and take care of the situation. But no, all these people died. Now I do love that he put them all there. I love all the stuff you talked about with his mom. I thought that was fantastic, and I did appreciate that. However, I wish that they just would have been like, "Oh, he's done. Like we this is him. He's dead. We got him. He's done, boys." And that would have been great, but no, it's like they got to go again. So yeah, that was the one thing.
Too, his motive, right? His motive is weak. It's like I killed a bunch of kids, and now like I'm gonna get everybody who testified against me in my trial. My only issue with that is it feels so petty for someone who is now half alien symbiotic life form who has the ability to suck people's like memories and like life force and blood out of their body.
Right.
It feels like why would he should be at like Dr. Manhattan level right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he should be just ruthlessly murdering because I like it.
Precisely.
And if you go, oh, but Johnny, he used to be Johnny Lee Rayburn. It's like, you know what? How they wouldn't have known that you used to be Johnny Lee Rayburn is if you just went Dr. Manhattan and just started killing because you were bored.
Right.
And they found that you would have just been a menace.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have known what to do with you.
Wouldn't have known.
Right. Like, but yeah, his motive of like, I'm going to get everybody that testified against me when I was a human. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, why would Johnny Lee Rayburn give a shit?
Right.
Like that's my problem.
And he still keeps telling them like, "Oh, I'm not Johnny Lee Rayburn. That's not me. That's not me. I'm Death Watch." Like, no, I'm not. I don't know who.
That's
Johnny
not
Lee
me. I still maintain my Southern accent.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's got that Arkansas kind of.
Yeah. Like that's got to be
my
weird.
mama. I wasn't done punishing her yet.
Right.
You're like, okay, man. Like, you'd be a lot scarier if you were like some dark side shit where your concerns were like galactic.
Yeah.
Like I find those villains more scary where you're like, I'll destroy you all, but I'm not like it's that whole like you took everything from me, I don't even know you shit.
Right.
Basically. Like that's kind of what you want out of like that guy.
Right.
But he's not. He's Chucky's human origin story wrapped up in an alien symbiote. Am I not wrong?
No.
He's Chucky's origin story wrapped up in a metal suit that can suck your Vecna you basically like is basically what he's doing. So I just don't. Yeah, I agree. I've been kind of hanging back on Johnny Lee Rayburn, Death Watch. I've been hanging back. I've been hanging back in the cut. But at this point, I'm like, look, where's Bad Bat Dad? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I need also can update. I say I know this sounds like old drink. I'm just a couple things like this last thing, and we'll get going.
Yeah.
It feels to me like his whole "I suck at the blood" thing he does was literally only there to make you think it was Splinter for the Savage Dragon crossover.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, why do you suck blood?
Right.
Like,
that's true.
At first it was like, oh man, dude, Bad Bat Dad's out here like draining these bros, bro. And then no, it just got you to Chicago so you could have the Savage Dragon crossover, and then it got Vanguard and Wells stuck up in the story now, and I'm now on their spaceship with the teleporter and Johnny Lee Rayburn, and I'm like, what? Like what?
And Lurch and all that.
And Yeah, and Lurch and shit. Like, I don't know who the hell Lurch is, guys. I'm reading a TMNT comic. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who these people are, and they're somehow playing, like, a big role in what's happening in my TMNT comic.
Yeah.
The Raphael side story is great. That's just
Absolutely.
pure TMNT. There's that they built that storyline up. I love how they built the architecture off of Casey and Gabriella. I love that it turns out that like she had mafia connections and they know about Shadow. Love that. That's pure boosting off of Mirage volume 1 and 2 and taking that straight into here, and it's really organic and I love it. This means that the mafia attacking the Foot Clan and Raphael is awesome because it's pure TMNT.
It is.
But it just feels like the Johnny Lee Rayburn half is real Dragon. And
it is real Dragon.
Well, you are like 25 years late to the context.
That is true.
And I get that. I knew the minute I started harping on Image, I was like, oh no, I'm going to get some people steamy about it. It's just, honestly, it comes down to Rayburn.
Yeah.
It comes down to Rayburn and some of the Image side characters. Not in. I don't read Savage Dragon.
It's just too. It's a little too much.
So it's kind of like it kind of is what it's a little too much pushed over.
Right. I appreciate it, and I'm glad they're there, and I enjoy the turtles with other things. Like I love mixing up the turtles and stuff. It's just it's overstaying its welcome a little bit. Now again, the way that Rayburn's drawn in this issue, I think, is better than the other issues. I think that like a lot of his dialogue and a lot of the other stuff is well done. I'm just.
Oh, I mean, I think some of the best comics in the whole thing was him with his mother and stuff. I just got done complimenting all that. That's really good.
Yeah,
like it. Yeah, you can separate writing, maybe right, and like writing and situational stuff from like the work, the totality of the work. Like it's good.
I just wish that they would have, like, to your point, I wish, because I hadn't thought about that they could have used it to think that Splinter was the one going and sucking all the blood from these things. I wish they would have furthered that a little bit, where it's like it would have had to take a little bit more effort to make it work. But I think that would have been a little bit more compelling than we're just following this guy again. Like now we're chasing him, but we've forgotten about Splinter. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, and like and so M's kind of saying like you gotta promote your lesser properties like with your cash cow and like how that makes business sense. And when you're going up against the big two and if you weren't active when all that was happening, all you have is a snippet of it. And I appreciate all of that. And I think that's kind of the angle that I hope that like Image fans realize that we appreciate. Definitely.
Yeah.
Our perspective kind of on it is that like we are kind of trying to simulate or boot up a simulation of where we're two like dudes who are just obsessed with the turtles and we've been so since 1985 and we're just going through it and all we want to read is turtle comics. So for us, we're kind of like and some layer is doing the podcast, absolutely, like being involved in the TMT centric stuff. I think we're gonna have a viewpoint that doesn't like value some of the other Savage Dragon characters that have been built up in other comics. And you're right, Em, if you were reading Savage Dragon and you were reading all the other stuff with Vanguard and all them and you felt those characters great, like that's awesome. We don't have the background, but I'll just say this, and I'm not saying whatever. I'm just gonna say the last thing I'll say about it is the truth is that those the Johnny Lee Rayburn storyline is going on too long for my taste, and I feel like I speak for Eric too. Like, well, I mean, Eric's speaking for me because you said it first, and I was like, oh, hey, man. Yeah. So I can't take that away from you. That was a breath of fresh air.
Right.
I feel like I had a friend for the first time. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you too? You know what I mean? Like I feel like you drew the Jesus fish in the sand, and I was like,
oh yeah,
I'll draw one too. Oh, let's go. You know? Oh, you do that fish, bro. You didn't kick it in. But the truth is this, and I'll just say this is my objective feeling, is that like Rayburn's a weak character. There's not a lot of background to it. If I had to read other Image comics to care more about Rayburn, then I don't need. Do you know what I mean? Like that needs to be done better in Image TMNT.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna say that. Like if they want me to know, if you want me to know, I have to read these other comics to know how badass Rayburn is, then.
I think what they could have done.
I wasn't there for it.
Right. And I think what they could have done to make that point better, it's the opposite of what you think you should do. You think you need to over-explain, but actually, like, the less you know about this horrifying character, the more horrifying they are. And I think they could have gone that route with it to make it like you're getting less Rayburn, but it's amplifying his how terrifying he is. But once you start seeing him talk about boy and he's making all these, he's talking so much, you lose a lot of like his veracity and like his just, you stop being afraid of him because you realize he's talking to you in a Southern accent. Unless you're hearing like chainsaws or like a banjo, you're not really that afraid of it. And so, but like, I just think that, I don't know. I agree with you. And I think that they could, they could have just handled it differently. And I think that would have fixed things. But nevertheless, still, Image, this has been fantastic. Like this book was overall was really good. And I'm here for it. And what does that mean? Yeah. Where are we at, Ryan? What do we have? We have maybe 2 issues of this Image run that we didn't really care for. That was like, meh, it's okay. Yeah. That's pretty good considering like all the hate that this gets. I think we've done a pretty good job of praising this run, deservedly so. Well, the run deserves to be praised. Because this has been better than I ever thought it was going to be. So I am totally here for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Trying to get my camera to focus. My camera
I saw that.
Like awful right now. I'm just like
you might have to go into
for a while and just like I make you blind, and then I come out and I'm like, look at me.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh, yeah, we did it.
Just to finish, one last thing M says is listen though, Mako. Came in like gangbusters and was fun and was out, so someone knows how to do it. That's what I'm saying.
That's true. That's
like,
what I'm
Mako's
talking about.
Great. And what Mako run through there and be awesome and get the hell out, and I love it.
And
I want more now.
We want more Mako, exactly, because they
want more Mako. He's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And if they would have done the similar thing with Vanguard and Johnny Lee Rayburn Death Watch, like if they would have done something similar, that would have been good. But I think they're overstaying their welcome, and I'm with you. I get it. But Mako was fantastic, and the humor was great, and the humor in this book, in this issue, was fantastic too, and all the references to the horror movies and stuff. Yeah. So overall, a huge fan of this. John Klein was right. This is where it picks up, or at least this is from what we could tell. This is where we're back in it, and we're excited about it again. So, guys, let us know what you thought about this. Were you excited about this? Did you think that Shredder actually came back? Were you reading this on the stands? Like, what was it like seeing that in the actual like bookstore and just being like, oh snap! Like, we want to know. So write us turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can let us know, all those answers to all those questions, any of the questions we have down here in the ticker, you can let us know. And if anything else you want to let us know, just email us. Also, you can find all our episodes, turtlesoupshow.com. They're all up there. And listen to all, what is this, 208? Well, right now you can listen to 287 of them. So if you hear this, then you've already done it, supposedly. But then also you can find us on the Facebook group. We have Turtle Soup Show is a group on there where we have a ton of Turtletarians on there, and it's a lot of fun, and people share a lot of news. So it's a really cool place to stay up to breast on turtle stuff. And then follow us on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. And then also, Ryan, we're here on YouTube, aren't we? Is that correct? Are we still on YouTube?
Absolutely.
We didn't fall off.
Live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. So every Thursday, most of the time, and if not, it's going to be a Saturday. But you can find us here 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we'd love to hang out and talk before the show, and then we record the entire show live. So if you want to get in on this and jump in on the chat, because we do check in with chat during the show and whatnot, and be a part of this show, be sure to do that. Like, subscribe if you're here right now. Please like and subscribe. That helps us out a ton, and we really appreciate it. But if you want to go the extra mile, if you want to, just carry us there, where when we're like Thursdays, we turn around and we look back and there's only one set of footprints, and it's all of the patrons just forming Patron Ranger and carrying us through the sand that is just life to get us here to bring the just awesome soup that is the Prime episodes to you. You can do that by going to patreon.com, find Turtle Soup's Dumb and Making a Podcast, and you can sign up for that and throw some pennies our way. Really helps a lot, and it really means a lot to us because it helps us get through so many things that we come into and keeps the show alive, keeps us from saying clang, and it makes you a member of what we call family. So guys, we should be back next week with more Image, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to continue this step in the journey all the way. We're now firmly into 1998, y'all. This is nuts. Absolutely. And We're getting ever closer to 300. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. We got some things in the works in the kitchen going for that on the back burner, and all kinds of good stuff. But thank you again for being here and listening. We really appreciate you. And until then, else time.
Else time.